Good early morning. Boy, oh boy, if you wanted to stay up for Sunday Night Football, you probably did not have to.
You, it's like
I don't
white
really,
noise falling asleep to it.
basically, yes, it was. This is the part two of week 9 for Talker Game Podcast. Real quick, we'll be running through the Monday Night Football game. We're going to follow that up with our power rankings post week 9, as well as a look ahead to week 10, doing our weekly predictions. So we'll just jump right into it. Like I said, it was a snooze fest. Don't let the score confuse you. Chargers come away with the rollout 27-6 over the Jets at home. That may look like a score to most people. They sit there and say, "Wow, the Chargers overworked the Jets." If you even bother to watch the first half of that game, you'd understand one of those is a punt return, and everything else is just the Jets somehow trying to literally and figuratively fumble the ball away.
Yeah,
And find a way to lose the game. It was not pretty. It was a punt fest, honestly, in the first half.
punt ball.
It, yeah, punt ball. It wasn't a fun game to watch whatsoever. It's very boring, but nonetheless, we are here to talk about it. Some cool stats for anyone. I know we don't really get into stats here, but I thought I'd just throw it in. Justin Herbert completed 1,500 completions during this game. He did that in under 57 games to get all together. I'm jumbling this up. I'm sorry. And he is the fastest quarterback to do that. Previously held record was by Patrick Mahomes. So
So
that's a cool stat. I never saw that one coming. And then shout out to Big Keenan Allen. He feels like he's been in the league forever now.
yeah,
He was able with today's 77 yards to reach 10,000 career yards receiving. Big props. I mean, that's Hall of Fame stuff.
dude, he
I
did it
would
on a
not be
sick
surprised.
catch too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that was
tornado catch
cool.
is what I'm gonna dub it.
Yeah,
Is in a spin cycle.
the Herbert stats actually pretty interesting. Not just because it's like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is the last guy to do it, but um, people like forget about Justin Herbert, in my opinion, and dude's got an arm. Shows it. The
Yeah,
most exciting thing that came out of this entire game was that punt return. So if you saw that, you saw the most exciting play of the whole night. That was basically basically it. Nothing else really happened.
right.
It was flags, punts, strip sacks, just terrible. Honestly, terrible. It felt like more of a Thursday night game than a Monday night game. Just play wise.
Yeah,
But rate Chargers sneak out a win against the Jets. I don't think anyone was really surprised, to be fair. Although I personally thought the Jets would put up a better fight just because we've seen what the Chargers defense has let teams do in the past. And this might have been a perfect opportunity for Zach Wilson to get some confidence throwing the ball. But
yep.
he was 33 of 49 with 263 yards. I mean, when you have 49 attempts like that, you got to get closer to the 300s to justify it. Um, Brees Hall, 16 carries, 50 yards. It's just, you can tell the absence of Aaron Rodgers is needed, and the team is ready to win now. In my opinion, the way the defense plays, especially that Jets defense is pretty damn good. So kudos to
Yeah,
Robert Saleh to having that defense always prepared, but they can't do everything, and it comes back. This has been the theme for the Jets ever since Rodgers went down. But basically, it's been the theme of the Jets for the season is that the offense has to do something at some point, and we've seen glimmers throughout the season from Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall and the whole entire offense, but it's just not consistent enough,
yeah.
and you're just not going to win games that way. For the Chargers, stumbling, fumbling, trying to get through the game, trying to get through the W, and they did. It wasn't the prettiest one, and so I'm not really impressed with the Chargers. It was just what they're 4-4 now.
Yeah, four. Yep.
Yeah, it just came to me. It seemed like they came in, did what they had to do, but they didn't do it in the cleanest way, and it goes back to coaching. You guys know how I feel about Brandon Staley. It was just a whatever Monday night game for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the case with Jets games throughout the season. It's always going to be frustrating watching the Jets play, but also they're a team that's going to frustrate other teams. Um, I mean, great teams have had really bad success against the Jets this season, and that's why they actually have 4 wins right now. Is they're able to ink out these crazy wins, but the Chargers doing what most teams or some teams in this situation couldn't. So kudos to them. But I kind of echo what you said. Like the absence of Aaron Rodgers is really starting to show. Zach Wilson has little glimpses where he looks great, but it's not consistent. It's not enough where you have any kind of hope in this team. And I'm gonna quote the great Corey Seager, who quoted from someone else. What they could have been like with Aaron Rodgers, I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
we
we'll never
might.
know this from the season.
We might. Did you see the post game? Little Mike. I don't know if it's mic'd up, but the mic caught Rogers talking to Derwin James on the
Mhm.
on the field, and Rogers is like, "Yeah, give me a couple of weeks, I'll be back." And we're just like, "Okay." It's just like,
Here's
dude,
the
he
thing.
literally said,
I respect the push by Rodgers to get back. I just don't think if they lose the next 3 or the 4 next games, whatever however long the next few games before he gets back, is it worth risking him coming back if there realistically is not going to be a playoff push?
I
I don't
mean,
think so. I think
no,
he still has 2 more good seasons in him. Why
I do,
risk it in the season?
I do too. But the way the Bills have been playing, the Jets can make a push for that division.
Even with the Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins haven't looked like we just talked about on the previous episodes. The Dolphins haven't looked pretty. They'll give out losses, and if you're playing the Jets at least one more time, if the Jets sneak out a few division wins with Rodgers, you can win out that division. It's a push. The no one's dominating it, is what I'm saying. The
Mm-hmm.
Jets are still in it. They're like a game behind or a game and a half behind.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those situations where if it was a more of a give me playoff situation, then yeah, let's go ahead and get Rodgers in there. But they're still gonna have to fight for a playoff spot. And yes, we've seen Aaron Rodgers make some crazy throws after surgery, but we all know that's nothing like being in the pocket, actually having to have it to reach that 5 step drop, whatever it is, and scramble out. I don't know if the risk is worth the reward this season if they are where they're at right now. I just can't see it. Oh, did I lose you? You're frozen. This is what happens when we record. Sometimes we have technical problems. And I'm alone. I'm so lonely. Do I just let Shahan join back? That seems like the right thing to do. Where am I at? So it's probably at 7:30. That's where I lost him. Better now than later.
That was stupid.
Well, I kept it recording and I just measured out the time where he froze. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay, that's 9:10. Let's go ahead and start this back up at 9:25.
It's already recording, by the way.
Yeah, no, I just got
Okay.
for when I cut it later.
I'm in.
I don't even know where it's at, but
You were talking about Rodgers.
yeah. So with Rodgers, I just don't know if the risk is worth the reward. I could be wrong too. I would have been more confident if maybe they went into him possibly coming back sitting at like 7-3, or maybe even 6-4. I don't know. Right now, you're sitting at even 500, not knowing how these next two games are going to play out. So But again,
Yeah.
I love a good story. I love a good storyline. So who am I to disrupt the NFL script? What do I
No, I
know?
totally get what you're saying. Like realistic, yeah. Realistically, if even if you're a Jets, front office guy, you're like, hey man, do we really want to risk this guy getting hurt or doing something completely terrible? Uh, or do you want to save him for next year, where we basically will still have the same team that we have right now next year? I totally get that. I guess my script writing jumps in where I'm just looking at, okay, 6-3, 5-4, and 4-4. The Dolphins, Bills, Jets. Like we've seen any given Sunday, some of those teams could just shit the bed, and
No.
the Jets could just win one. Like if the Jets win next week and then the Bills and Dolphins lose, or not next week, whatever the next games are, um, that whole thing switches. They're tied with the Dolphins and they're one game behind, or they're tied with the Bills and they're one game behind the Jets or Dolphins. That becomes a little bit more interesting, but we'll see. Zach Wilson has to get a win somehow. I think this win would have been huge. We probably would have had a different scenario because both Bills and Jets would have been tied at 5-4. But with the Jets losing today, I see your point. This was probably a huge win for them if they would have gotten out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
So
we'll know here in the next few weeks. So that wraps up Monday Night Football. We're
yeah.
sitting at the Chargers winning 27-6 over the Jets. We will go ahead and move it on here to our next section, which is our weekly power rankings. For those who have not figured it out yet, once again, my rankings are based off feelings and emotions. Shahan's is based off of a little more research, a little more structure, a little more consistency. So, I feel like I go first a lot. So maybe I'll let you go first this time.
Yeah. I don't mind.
Cool.
Let me pull it up. So my power rankings, I don't even know what they were last year or last week. I just remember I talked about a few teams in there, and it's pretty much the same shuffle of teams. But I think one team that was there early on in the season that someone kept complaining about that we kept putting them in there, the Bengals, they're back in it, baby. I'll start off from number 5, just to keep it like how we've been doing it. I have the Niners. The Niners at 5. I know, weirdly enough, as a Cowboys fan, I said the Cowboys can beat the Niners and they're a beatable team and they'll be competing with them in the NFC for number 2. But with the Niners coming back from the bye week, hopefully being 100% healthy, that is the main part. The bye week gives them health. We will see what happens with the Niners, but as of right now, they're coming out of the bye week. They're 5-3. They should be 100% healthy. That defense is still the Niners defense. I'm putting them at 5. I know a lot of people are going to have gripes with that. I know there's a lot of teams that have stepped up in the past 2 weeks and the Niners have lost consistently. I get that. But bye week, healthy, they're only at 5 for now. We'll see what happens after this bye week game. So I have the Niners at 5.
Okay. All right.
The number 4 team is the Cincinnati Bengals in my power rankings, people. The Bengals are back. Joey Burrow is back. Joey Cool. I like what I see from the Bengals as much. I know Giff is a whole different story because he's a Bengals fan. He's gonna nitpick, but I nitpick too with the Bengals, and I'll gripe with them. But Lou Amarillo's defense is amazing. It's incredible, and when you have that next to Joe Burrow, like anything's possible. I'm going to quote Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible there. When you
Mm-hmm.
have Joe Burrow healthy Joe Burrow, healthy Joe Burrow, and that Bengals defense, anything's possible. So I really like the Bengals odds, especially just the way Miami and Buffalo have been playing all season. They're the third best team in the AFC, in my opinion. So they're number 4 in my power rankings.
All
Number
right.
3 is a team that I had. It might be in the same spot as last week. The Baltimore Ravens. People wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The Ravens are here. They're here big time. The trend for every single one of these teams is going to be defense, and the Ravens defense is stout. I mentioned it before in the podcast. They're bend don't break defense. They're not going to have the big sexy names jumping out like a Bosa or Sam Hubbard or anything like that, but they will put up not just like put up a whole fight every single game, and it's actually pretty cool to see. On the flip side of that, I have given Lamar a lot of flack for not being a pocket passer or a good thrower, but I've adjusted myself and realized that that's not his game, and I'm okay with that. The way Lamar plays freely outside the pocket, it's beautiful to watch, to be honest. And they're one of the fastest teams now with the Keaton Mitchell emergence, the rookie. So when you have Lamar, you have Mitchell, you have Zay Flowers, and you have a guy like Mark Andrews and that defense, I think it gives other defenses actually nightmares because you can only cover Lamar for X amount of times before, okay, the play's busted. Crap, Lamar's down the field already. So the whole like, oh, like for Mahomes, fuck it, Tyreek's there. For the Ravens, it's like, oh shit, fuck it, Lamar's already running. Like, that's it's kind of the equivalent in my aspect. So that's why I really like the Ravens. I think they give defenses a lot of fits because of Lamar in that run game. But on the flip side, their defense themselves are really good. Moving it along, number 2 is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think anyone's going to question that. They're 7-2. This is kind of weird because as much as we've seen Patrick Mahomes throughout his career, he's been dragging a defense along, and like he's like, hey guys, okay, I'll take care of this. Me, Travis, and Tyreek, me, Isaiah, and Travis will take care of this. But now that defense is lifting up Patrick Mahomes. When the offense is struggling, that defense steps up and makes the big plays, just like in that Miami game. If that defensive touchdown doesn't happen, Miami probably is only like a field goal or a touchdown away, whereas, a 2-point or a 2 touchdown or 2 score away game. So that defense in that Kansas City game is what lifted them up to be able to win. And that defense so far is what's been winning them games. And I feel like that's kind of why people aren't as worried about Patrick Mahomes and the offense. They're like, oh, they'll figure it out. The receivers will get the trust, blah, blah, blah. As soon as that happens, guys, it's game over. The Chiefs are going to go back to the Super Bowl. But if they can't, that defense is good enough to keep lifting them up. And we know Patrick Mahomes is an MVP player, so he'll figure out a way to win. So I really like the Chiefs in that aspect, which I also think it's really cool the way they keep building their team. Yeah, I'm getting in like La La Land about the Chiefs. Sorry. And then obviously the one lost team, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 8-1, people. Hate on them all you want. Say they look beatable. Say they do this. Say they do that. They're 8-1. You can't hate on an 8-1 team. Like, you just can't. Yep. So that's my power rankings: Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Niners. Okay. That's what I got so far.
Fair enough. I think I will go from top down because the bottom is where my thing shakes up a little bit. Okay. Number 1, no surprise, it's the Eagles for all the reasons you just mentioned. And obviously beating a very good Cowboys team this week as well, being able to put on an effort that's commendable. So 8-1, can't say anything about it. Eagles are on top of the rankings. They're going to be followed up by, I actually have the Ravens in the number 2 spot. They've looked consistently. Actually, they've consistently won. All right, I'm just going to break it down that way. They've consistently won, and I mean, for all the reasons you mentioned, right? That defense is stout. Lamar Jackson, I think they finally figured out a way to make him be a weapon, but also an asset at the same time without being a detriment to their offense. And they're not trying to change him, right? They're not purposely trying to put him in something where he has to go through 4 or 5 reads. It's you get 1 or 2 reads and that's it, man. Take off with your legs. Yeah. Can't hate on that. Can't hate on all the support they put around him. You put a veteran receiver in OBJ around him. Cool. That gives you a little bit of extra time. You have Mark Andrews, security blanket right there. You have a running game with the 17 fucking running backs you have. Great security blanket. So Um, whatever. Ravens are 2. I have that followed up by the Chiefs at number 3. No hate to them whatsoever. It's just I'm just seeing the Eagles and Ravens be consistently winners, and the Chiefs have had their struggles here and there. Even this week with the Dolphins, just wish they were able to just put the foot on the throat and just kind of end it rather than lingering and let them come back late in the game. So I have them at number 3. And my bigger shakeup toward the bottom is I actually moved the Lions up from number 5 in my rankings up to number 4.
Wow.
I like the Lions, man. I really do. I think they're amazing? No, but have they won big games? Are they always going to be a threat? Yes. I think any game that's played in Detroit is going to be very difficult to win. That environment's a great environment to be in. I just like the grit, right? That's the word they use in Detroit. The grit of the Lions. So I have them at the number 4.
Yeah.
And at number 5, I kind of toiled around because obviously I'm leaving out some really good teams. Like I said, my rankings are based off feelings, and I had a really great week and some really positive affirmation and feelings come my way. So that shoots actually the Bengals up to number 5. Accompanied by my feelings is also statistics for once. You don't beat a very good 49ers team and then the next week a very good Bills team back to back. And then the week before that, a solid Seahawks team and not shoot up in the rankings. And on top of that, you have a little asterisk with Joe Burrow's calf being injured the first 3 games. And still, for anyone that watched those games, they weren't blowouts either. So the fact that anyone that watched those games and said, "All right, the Bengals are done," it's like, all right, we lost on our QB being injured, but we didn't get blown out. So wait and find out. And here we are, sitting at number 5. I couldn't be any happier. So glad to have their name back in the rankings. I'll have to figure out how to get their logo back onto my little thing, but that'll be posted here shortly as well. So those are our power rankings post week 9. Pretty consistent and pretty unique. So we'll go ahead and end that there. We are going to follow that up now by running through week 10 schedule with our predictions. The running count for anyone that's interested. Last week, we've had a very good back-to-back weeks. You actually ended up at 11-3, so great predictions.
Wow, really?
I
thought I
ended
did
up.
worse.
No, you did great. It was
Okay.
actually the Monday night game that determined the difference between us. I actually, for some stupid ass reason, chose the Jets. Big mistake there. So I'm actually sitting at 10-4 from last week. Overall, we are right up on each other. Last week, like I told you, we were tied. You were up now with a overall record of 47-29. I sit at 46-30. So we're halfway point of the year. We're neck and neck. We're above 500, which is important, which means that if we went to Vegas, we'd be okay. So
I mean, we did help out one of our friends. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of our friends, Shahan. He has that league that he asked us in where it was like I don't even know how you describe
Survivor League.
Survivor League. That was pretty cool. I've heard of him, but I never got to help pick someone's team. So we helped him pick the Saints over the Bears, and he won. So we're above 500.
You're welcome,
guys.
bro.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yeah. Maybe you owe us a steak.
Yeah, honestly, I will start being smarter about my picks. I chose the Giants to beat the Raiders because I was trying to support Awesome Stay, and screw you guys. I'm done trying to be sentimental. All right, this week is serious.
Yeah, we got steak on the line. Why aren't we serious all the time?
I know. Now, I wish Thursday night's matchup was serious, but we have Carolina heading off to the Bears Thursday night.
Oh my God.
This may be the first Thursday night game
Bears.
I avoid.
Do we know Fields is coming back? I'm pretty sure he's probably questionable.
Slated to come back.
Slated. Yeah, give me the Bears. Even if it's Badgett, I trust Badgett over. I think I'm out of the bag with Frank Reich as a head coach. He's like 41-40 since he's won the Super Bowl or whatever. Like, I don't think he's that good of a coach anymore. I think he's a good offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach, but not head coach.
Yeah. To honestly garbage teams.
Yeah.
You take those factors out of the way. You have hopefully the reemergence of Justin Fields, and it's going to be a night game, obviously in Chicago. So yeah,
Go
those
Chicago.
factors give me the Bears as well. Yep.
Bear
All
down.
right,
Let's go.
we are gifted once again with another early game in Frankfurt, Germany. So back-to-back weeks. They aren't necessarily going to get the flashiest matchup, but still,
Yikes.
it's could be interesting. We have the Colts playing the Patriots.
Ugh.
I'm just gonna let you know I had a really hard time when I looked at the schedule. It's some crap matchups.
Yeah, this might take me a while, and I know that's frustrating for you.
Do you want to come back? You want to spend a little bit of time on that?
No, well, yeah. Let me come back to that one.
Okay, fair
Sorry.
enough. Have a divisional matchup here from the AFC North. We have the Browns heading over to the Ravens.
Man, this is a good matchup. This is a really good matchup. Browns defense is stacked. They're phenomenal. I think they're actually a top 5 defense this year.
Yeah.
Man, this is a really good matchup. I'm going to ride with the Ravens because they've been my guys the past 2-3 weeks. Yeah. I'm just excited about the matchup. But yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just not confident enough in Deshaun Watson or that offense to be
Yeah.
able to stake with the Ravens. It's kind of the same situation as the Jets. It's like, cool, you have a sick defense, but you have to at least have some kind of complementary offense to it. And it's also going to
Yeah.
be in Baltimore, so it's going to be a rowdy environment. I'm going to go ahead and give that credit to Baltimore.
Do you have any Cleveland fans that reach out to you? I'd like to know how they feel about Deshaun Watson so far this year. I'm not really sold on him, so I'm just curious how Browns
I
fans
do.
feel.
Asad, if you're listening to the show, I'll send you a clipping of this so you do hear it. Love to hear what you think. He actually lives in Cleveland too, so
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's the biggest Browns fan, but he's around enough Browns fans where I'm sure he probably has heard some
yeah. I like to get the
interesting takes.
pulse.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. All right. Great matchup. Next one. If you would have asked me early in the season, I would not have believed it, but we have a great matchup in the Texans heading over to my Bengals.
Oh man, this is like heartbreaking. I don't want to choose a team here. I just don't want to choose a team here. Uh, you know, for funsies, give me the Texans.
Oh, okay.
This is the dumbest thing I'm doing because I'm risking the stake. But for funsies, give me the Texans.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys already know my guess is going to be the Bengals. But honestly, this looks like it's going to be a really, really fun game. Great matchups all around, and a slight homecoming too for CJ Stroud coming back to his home state, or I guess where he played with Ohio State. So a
Yep.
lot of cool factors in there. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of fans in the stands. Don't be surprised if you hear a little more
Chance
clapping
for
than you
CJ.
would expect. Mm-hmm. So definitely cool. All
Yeah.
right, we have another
Did
great
you
match. I
hear?
don't know why
Did
I
you
said I
hear
had some crappy.
before? No, it's okay. Did you hear
For what?
before CJ Stroud was drafted? Um, Bill Simmons had said that he doesn't think CJ Stroud's going to be a good quarterback because he's never heard of a good quarterback with 2 initials be good. He's never heard of a quarterback with 2 initials be good. That's what he said. He's like, I think he's a bust because his name's CJ. And he was like, yes, that is a man that makes,
Man.
yes, that is a man that gets more exposure than me and more, comments than you, because he says he doesn't think CJ Stroud's going to be a good quarterback because his name has initials.
Okay. Okay. I know we don't get into this a lot, but I will set off on a slight rant here. This is the shit that pisses me off about modern day reporting, modern day analyzing, and modern day anything that comes to people that are thrown on TV, thrown on a podcast, whatever it is, that want to come in with their expert opinions or their experienced opinions, right?
Yep.
And throw out bullshit like that. You're gonna say someone's not gonna be great because they have two
Well, hold on.
initials rather.
And just to trigger you even more, he says not just initials, but A, initials, and then B, he's a Ohio State quarterback. That's why he didn't think. That's why he thought CJ Stroud's going to be a bust.
Okay. Even the Ohio State take, I will at least swallow that with a little bit of salt, right? That's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a Ohio State cool, whatever. You have stats on your side for that. Does that mean that anytime that someone goes to Ohio State, they'll never win a Super Bowl? No, it's dumb as shit. But this is the crap that I hate so much about just, these people that come onto these shows, right? They're honestly, he probably didn't come up with that at the top of his head. He probably had his publicist or someone on his team sit there and say, "Hey, here's a solid hot take for you that you're not going to be burned too much for because it's like a funny one." But this is the crap that dilutes like actual people that like paying attention to games, like listening to podcasts, like watching ESPN. Is if you get a stupid, crappy opinion like that has no like factual basis around it. It's not based on any tangible factors. And now all of a sudden you have people like you and I talking about it because you got to say stupid shit like this. And the only reason we're going to even talk about this right now is because I'm sick and tired of seeing this, right? This is why people hate going and actually going to ESPN or actually going and like getting their quick little like, that's why nobody wants to watch videos anymore, right? Because all of a sudden someone just has to throw in a little quick soundbite, this little hot take that everyone asks us to do all the time. Trust me, if I have a hot take, I will give you guys a hot take, right? But I refuse. I'm telling you right now, I refuse to give a hot take in something I don't believe in or is completely stupid as saying someone will never be good because their name is CJ.
Dude, yeah,
I have morals, right?
Yeah.
You and I are small town people, but I have some morals at the end of the day. I'm going to stick with that.
No, I agree. I think, okay, we're way off tangent, and I didn't mean to do that. But the whole hot take thing, people have been asking us to do it, and we've said that if we believe in something, we'll say the hot take, and we'll double down and be like, okay, we own up to it if it's a hot take and we're wrong. I will gladly own up to it if I say a hot take and I'm wrong. But Bill Simmons said this so confidently and so like, yeah, he's going to be a bust. His name's CJ, and he's an Ohio State quarterback. Name me other two quarterbacks with initials, and he said like EJ Manuel and AJ Feely, and I was like, dude, what kind of bogus shit is this? Like, stop with the clickbait media journalism and just talk about sports. If you want to say a hot take and that's because of your fandom, that's fine. I say it all the time because I'm a Cowboys fan, and I say some outrageous shit, but that's because I'm a fan. I'm not going to sit there and say a guy's going to be a good quarterback or a bad quarterback just because of his freaking name. What kind of, that's so dumb.
Anyway. No, you want a hot take? We give you hot takes. Shahan has multiple times said on the podcast that, hey, if you're not a first-round QB, your stats of being in the Super Bowl are like zero almost. That's a great take because guess what? There's stats that prove that. Okay, cool. Are you technically correct? Does anyone with two initials have won a Super Bowl? Cool. You're 100% right. No one has. But, if freaking Tom Brady wanted to go change his name right now to TB, technically your opinion's wrong because legally he can do that.
I don't know. I saw that after the 4 touchdown game from Stroud. It was all over media, and I was like, Bill Simmons really said this? And I did my digging, and I was like, Bill Simmons really fucking said this. Like, this is a guy that has a national media exposure. Anyways, let's get back to the schedule. I'm so sorry.
All right. All right. Going back into a great matchup we have coming with that early slot is we have San Francisco 49ers heading off to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. So nice little test for them coming back from a bye week. I like it.
I think it's a test for both teams. Yeah, I like it a lot. A lot of people are surprised that the Jaguars are 6-3, I believe. This is a great test for both teams. It's in Jacksonville, so even a bigger test for San Francisco. I'm gonna go with San Francisco though. I really think the bye week's gonna help them, so I'm going with San Francisco. I can't believe I'm rooting against Jacksonville. Can't believe I'm picking San Francisco.
This is true. That is your team.
Yeah.
Is Trent Williams coming back? Do we know anything about
that? Let's find out.
Injury. That does affect my prediction. Actually, no, it doesn't. I have the 49ers winning as well. I don't think that Kyle Shanahan is going to sit there and take 3 losses and come out being flat. That's the last thing he wants to do.
Yep.
But I will say the one interesting fact is it is a 1 p.m. game. So any kind of West Coast team heading off to the East Coast, that is a little bit different than what you're used to. So small chess piece there, but I like the 49ers.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Okay, cool. We have the Saints heading over to the Vikings.
We didn't even get to talk about this, by the way. The
But
Josh Dobbs story.
that is a shame.
We didn't talk about Josh Dobbs, and that was kind of
That
sad.
is
I realized that when we ended recording this morning, or whatever. Man, I'm. Give me the Vikings.
Vikings. Okay. I have already selected the Vikings as well. I like it. I'm a big Jordan Addison fan. I need him to do well in fantasy. So
Switch it for me. Then.
Vikings it is. I'm not 100% confident in that pick, but it's fine. It's
Switch
not
it
going to
for
hurt
me.
me if you and I both get that wrong.
No. Switch it.
Keep,
No, I want the
gotta keep. Oh, you want to switch it? Okay.
I want the
Okay.
Saints. Yeah. Switch it for me.
Oh, okay. All right. New Orleans it is for you. All right, moving on. We have the Packers heading over to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers.
I hate. I shouldn't say hate. Steelers are boring to watch. But the Packers aren't any better. Give me the Steelers.
Steelers. All right, I actually have the Packers in this. It'd be nice if two teams from the AFC North would lose next week. That'd be solid. Okay. Tennessee heading over to Tampa Bay.
Give me Will Levis, man. I've been liking what I've been seeing from Will Levis. Nothing against Baker, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Will Levis. I think Tennessee overall is a better team, so I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
Yeah, I talked highly of Baker Mayfield in the first podcast we had this week, so I would be kind of shooting myself in the face if I decided not to choose him against Tennessee. So Tampa Bay it is for me. All right, and starting off our afternoon slate games, we have Atlanta and Arizona.
Battle of the Birds. Did you know? Sorry, another side tangent. Did you know who Arthur Smith's dad is? The head coach of the Falcons. No. Arthur Smith's dad is the owner of FedEx.
Oh. I have a gripe with FedEx.
Tidbit. So, a little tidbit. Oh, do you have a gripe with Arthur?
UPS better, so
yeah, because what can Brown do for you? What can we do for you?
Consistent reporting on your tracking.
No, I meant brown as in like brown people, like me and you, brown people.
What can Brown can't do anything for me. I make my own legacy.
That dad joke. Oh, I'm off on rails this time, but give me Atlanta.
I also have Atlanta because I have absolutely zero confidence in Arizona right now. So, all right,
free Bijan, by the way.
Yeah, free that dude, man. Come on. I hate seeing that. All right, we have the Lions heading over to LA to play the Chargers. Could be a little fun little matchup there. I like it.
Yeah, man. Lions are coming from a bye week. Should be healthy. I hate rooting against Herbert, or not rooting against, but I hate choosing against Justin Herbert. But I'm gonna go with the Lions just because I think Amon-Ra is gonna cut up that defense.
Yeah, a fully healthy Lions team is pretty scary. I'm going to continue with my Detroit bias. I think I've chosen them every single week, but I'm going to roll with them. I like it. All right, we're going to go ahead and do a NFC East matchup. We have the Giants heading over to your Cowboys without Daniel Jones, who did suffer an ACL to end the season.
Horrible. I watched that play so many times. No contact, just steps back in the pocket and collapses and sits down. Feels so bad for Daniel Jones. It's Tommy DeVito. and it's Tommy DeVito and Matt Barkley, by the way. I
Mhm.
believe. Give me Dallas.
Yeah, you're not going up against the Dallas defense.
Yeah, no way.
And with the guy named Tommy DeVito possibly
Yeah.
going out victorious. I'm sorry. Okay. Next matchup we have is the Commanders heading off to Seattle to play the Seahawks.
Commanders.
Ooh. I have Seattle in a
I
bounce
like
back
Sam
week.
Howell.
Yeah, he's great. He's
Okay.
gonna put up
Yeah.
massive numbers for anyone looking at fantasy.
Yeah,
But
I like Seattle. Boy Mafe, I said it before. He's a great player, but something tells me Washington is just gonna it's gonna be like a field goal win.
okay. And then Sunday night football.
This should be flexed. This is so dumb.
That has
This
to be
should be
flexed.
this should be
We have the
flexed.
Jets heading over to Vegas to play the Raiders. Please, for the love of anything, flex this.
They should flex San Francisco and Jacksonville into the slot easily.
100%.
Easily. I'm so tired of seeing the Jets in prime time. I mean, it's gonna be. Let's go with the Raiders.
I'm actually a big fan of this Antonio Pierce story, not because I love a good head coach, interim head coach, becoming a head coach. I just think when people do that, it's the dumbest thing ever when there's viable candidates out there. So it's going to be a typical Las Vegas move. If they win this week, they'll go and hire him permanently. And in 2 years, they'll find a new head coach. So I love dumpster fires, and the Raiders provide that almost on a yearly basis for me.
See, I'm glad you like that because I'm not on the flip side. I'm hitching on to the dumpster fire, but I'm like, yo, I want to see what Aiden O'Connell does. So that's why I'm rooting for the Raiders. Although it's the Jets defense, we're both idiots for doing this, but
I know,
for funsies.
but screw it. Once again, okay. God, I hate these matchups toward the end. We have Denver heading off to Buffalo to play the Bills on Monday Night Football.
Jeez.
Denver's going to be coming off a bye after beating the Chiefs, for anyone who's forgotten.
That's why I said jeez, because do I think Russell Wilson can outscore Josh Allen? Actually, I kind of do. I'm going to go with Denver.
Wow. I want to very quickly go ahead and oppose you on that. It's at Buffalo. It's going to be hopefully a fun environment for them and a bounce back week. So I have Buffalo, and that rounds out our predictions for the week. We'll go and update you next week on where we're at. Maybe possibly have a small little segment about me ranting about primetime games and how they are assigned and why it cannot be a fluid process throughout the season. I truly, truly believe that because this is what happens. They literally ran off the Jets being, with I'll say for next week. Anyways, if you write it up based on current players and you don't account for injuries, this is the crap that happens. And you end up getting stupid matchups that aren't that fun to watch.
Well, the Jets also get the first Black Friday game too, which is technically prime time. So you got fuel for the fire for next week.
I'll use it. I'll have my rant. But okay, that wraps up this week. It's been a great week of football. We will have a State of Your Fanhood section or segment once again this week. This week, it makes no sense. It makes complete sense to go ahead and cover the Cowboys. We have to.
Oh, yay.
Like I said, I'm a big fan of bringing in these fans after a loss and after losing to the Eagles. Obviously, you guys here week in and week out. Shahan, we actually, I'll keep it a surprise. We have a surprise guest, maybe two guests. I haven't talked to you about this yet, Shahan, but I have an idea. So we will bring you guys, hopefully at the end of the week, the State of Your Fanhood Cowboys or Dallas Cowboys edition.
That is going to be a very heated discussion between me and one or two other people, whoever it is, because no Cowboys fan sees me eye to eye, and I know that for a fact. So bring it, whoever it is, bring it.
I agree. These segments usually 30 minutes long. I anticipate this one to be going to full hour. So
Just go.
I think this is honestly the segment that everyone's been dying for us to have. And when you ask, a year and a half later, we deliver. So
Hey, some people just couldn't join. That's not our fault.
it's true.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up this week Talk Again podcast. I'm Kaif. That's Shahan. We'll see you guys next week. All righty.
See you guys.